The layout on this site was done using a WYSIWYG editor. There's different WYSIWYG editors available in Drupal. WYSIWYG stands for What You See is What You Get. Once you have an editor installed in your Drupal website, you'll want to set up a user specifically for accessing that WYSIWYG editor. Some of your users will be able to embed PHP code. Some of them will only be able to adjust your layout. Anyone that can adjust the layout of this site, we simply call a layout artist. We give them access to the WYSIWYG editor, and you can change that format by scrolling down on the site in the edit mode and selecting from the various input formats. So when I click on input format, you can see our different users that have access to the site. We'll choose layout artist. And now the WYSIWYG editor that we have installed shows up. For this particular page, there's a few key pieces. First of all, we have the embedded Flash code, and we're able to resize that here, which is really handy. If we were to just look at the Flash itself, we would have to actually identify the pixel height and width for this. You see when I hover on it. We have embedded this into a table, and we do that by inserting a table using this button. Another important part of this layout you might not notice is that it's left justified. And we also have a block quote. It's down a little bit further on the page right here. Now, because this layout has Flash, we need to make sure that when we save it, the final save has PHP code selected or another user group that will allow you to make that Flash work on your page. There's a few ways of doing that. So now we have it saved again. You see everything comes up perfectly. Now if you were to look at this without the WYSIWYG editor, I'll click on edit again and show you. And let's say you were just going to look at this PHP code only. What you're going to be seeing is a lot of tags. You'll see the table tag. You'll see the Flash embed code here. Changes in paragraph and things like that. So let's go ahead and try one from scratch. Now we have an Excel spreadsheet that we use just to keep everything really consistent on this site. And the text of our site is the scripture found in the King James Version of the Bible. When you have text on your site, you might want to try using a spreadsheet or even keeping a Word document separate so that you can keep your site really consistent. So I'm just going to scroll up here. We're working on chapter 4, and chapter 4 is going to be the text of this particular page today. And we have fields that contain notes for us. Again, this just helps with consistency in the site, so that in a site the size of this one, users know what to expect. So what we've done is gone through the text and identified places that were mentioned in Scripture. We see Midian and Eden. Eden is mentioned here in Genesis 4:16. So when this is put on the site itself, I want to make sure that I have a map representing Eden at Genesis 4:16. And I think we can do that. On this particular site, we have things organized on a separate tab to make it just a little easier. If I scroll down here, my map is already made and placed. One reason we do this is so that users can embed these maps themselves. And if you'd like to embed any of these in a blog or website of your own, you're welcome to do that. So we need this Eden map, and we also need one for Midian. Just to speed things up a little bit, these have already been placed on the Exodus chapter 4 page. I'll go ahead and load these. If I scroll down, you'll see them here. Okay, we're going to follow the same exact principle we did before, but we're starting from scratch this time. Click Edit. And here's the text, just simple. It's in PHP code format right now, so we can see the embed code here. I'm going to change the input format to Layout Artist. Again, this might be different in your site. I'm going to select this, right click, and cut. Now I have to look closely at this text and try to determine where it's going to look the best on our site. And so just kind of glancing through here, you can see, maybe about halfway through, they're beginning to talk about places a little bit. This might be a nice first map. So I insert my cursor here, and I'm going to click on table. My table is 2 columns and only 1 row. That looks good, and I'll insert. I'm going to put the map right here in this first column. And now I think this is a little too big for what I'm trying to do on this particular page. So I'll drag it in a little smaller. And then I can either click right in here or hit the tab to reach over. Now I want to grab some of this text. You have to kind of guess here what you think will look right on your site. I'm going to take about half of this text. Scroll back up here and look very carefully. You will see that other little cell to paste it in. That looks like it's going to be about right. We'll have to see when we actually save the page how it turns out. Every page is a little different. And try that again. There was just a little bit more text than the size I had. So there we go. Before I get too far in this, I'm going to switch to PHP code again. I'll save it and take a look at this again. We'll see how it is. You can see here this text is a little bit too long. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at verse 16, and we'll take it from there. We'll edit again. Change the input format. We want layout. And remember, red about here was where we had too much text in the final version. Place that there. I'd like another table for this to go into. So I will enter a table right at that verse 16. Let's see. We'll try here. Again, 1 row. Insert. This is a lot of trial and error. It's going to be different on every page. Every block of text you have will have a little different content and a different way you're going to want to portray things. This time I'll put the text on the left and the map on the right. And this is going to be resized again. And before we save, switch to PHP code one more time.